G'day friends, welcome to today's video. We're going to make a zine today. Well, I'm actually just going to show you me making a zine. If you want to check out how to make a zine, everything I learned from Ali Brown's video on making a zine. So go and check that out if you want to know where to start. I'm showing you this today because I will actually be in Los Gatos, which is Spanish for the cats, very on brand. I'm going to be up there teaching my very first of 3 workshops over the weekend, and today I'll be teaching making a zine. So I know not everyone could make it. I know it was a big ask to get everyone to travel across the world to come to class. And so I didn't want anyone to feel like they truly missed out, so I thought making a video doing a zine today would kind of give us all the feeling that we're all together just making zines. So if you want to grab out a piece of paper and make one along with us, I would love to see what you get up to and pop it in the Facebook group and share it with people. A few of the things that I love about zines is, you know, they're essentially, to me, they're mini art journals, but I love that you can share them. You can, you know, they're originally designed to be mass manufactured through a photocopier, so you just get a piece of copy paper, or I used Fabriano hot press watercolor paper for this because I'd like to do watercolor with my zine backgrounds, and you can just put them through the photocopier and make reproductions. And I think it's a really great way to share your art journal aesthetic, your story, you know, your ephemera, all the stuff that you love about art journaling. This is essentially a mini art journal. I think it's a great way to share, because I don't know if too many of us out there have ever made a full art journal and just given it to a friend. I think it's a lot of work to put into something to just give away, but also it could be quite personal. But this is essentially, you know, a very shareable way to do that, and I really like that aspect of it. I like to watch people make zines because I think one of the not funnest, why would I say funnest? And it's not even funny. I think I was going to say funniest, and then it's not even funny either. One of the things that I enjoy watching the most is seeing how people miniaturize and downsize. The pages of a zine, you know, if you use a regular piece of copy paper, an A4 or a US letter sized, they're quite small. If you regularly work in a journal, you know, a piece of ephemera or a scrap piece of paper or an illustration that might look, you know, kind of insignificant on a large Dilutions journal page looks huge on a zine page. And it's really fun to see people approach that puzzle play aspect of, you know, placing everything down and where everything's going to fit and what's going to make sense where and how much of this should I include. So that's something we'll look at in class, and it's something that I do love to watch people do. And I think the best part is it gives a new kind of, it gives new opportunities for some of your smaller pieces of ephemera, your smaller stickers, your smaller little scribbles and doodles. I think suddenly they seem a lot more important and more significant when the proportion of your page is scaled down. So I like it for that as well. And one of the most interesting things to me about zines is that they encourage me to work with a narrative thread that might pull the whole thing together. Now, in a regular journal of, say, 30, 60, 9,000 pages, I would never try to work in a narrative thread because the thought of that is just so overwhelming. Like, I'm not going to choose a story and make the whole journal about that. I might choose a theme, like maybe this is a whole journal full of fairies or unicorns or whatever, but, you know, to actually build in a story or build in a little thought or build in a, you know, a poem or something, I think it's, you know, it's a big ask to do it in a big journal and to still be able to approach it very intuitively. I feel like there'd be a lot of planning and process that would go into that. But for a zine, it's only 8 pages, so I think it's much more manageable to build a narrative thread into a zine, and that's something that I really like to experiment with. So today's zine is actually called A State of Mind, and I was processing something pretty, I don't want to say difficult, I don't want to say heavy, but I'm going to say difficult and heavy. I can't think of better words for it right now, but I'll explain a bit about what I was processing, just so you get a better idea of, you know, of what this really meant for me. I think it was kind of therapeutic in a way that I find a lot of art being therapeutic, in that you really slow down. It's a lot of a cathartic process to just, you know, stick and glue and cut and paint and, you know, not really care about what's happening or how anything turns out. And essentially it really slowed me down to think about what it was that I was actually constructing or going to journal about. And that was, it's all based off of the title that I put on the front of this zine called A State of Mind. So this is my state of mind zine. And it's my state of mind right now. Like, please don't get me wrong, if you watch this at any other point in life, like maybe a year from now, maybe even 2 weeks from now, my state of mind will be different. It's always evolving, ever-changing. You know, it was different when I started this piece to when I ended this piece, because this did help me process through some of those thoughts that I was having, and I found a lot of purpose in it for that. So never truly underestimate how therapeutic or how helpful your art and your artistic expression can be for you. It doesn't always have to mean anything. Not everything has to have this big old story attached to it. It can just be for fun, and a lot of my stuff is. But sometimes I will allow myself, even with all these like random little doodles and illustrations from completely different periods of my life, sometimes I will allow that to take on a bit more of a meaningful form and a bit more and be a bit more expressive of how I truly am feeling. So I use the Tim Holtz small talk word chit chat sticker. I don't know what they're called. The little black, they look like Dymo labels. I used that, and it said a state of mind. Now, when I go to title pieces or give them some kind of story, I generally just wait until the end and pick out some Tim Holtz word stickers that work for it, because every single time, no joke, there is a perfect phrase or word sticker that just sums up what I want to talk about. I don't know what it is, and I'm still happy that it's working. I'm getting through my stickers a bit more, and I'm just kind of nervous that eventually that will stop and I'll have to buy some new ones that make sense. But I was looking through the stickers and I came across a state of mind, and it really made me stop and think that, yes, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking about. When I approached this, I wanted to journal about all the stuff that I enjoy in my imagination, like fairies and pixies and sprites and mermaids and unicorns and anything, all of that stuff that I used to fantasize about as a kid, and as an adult we kind of let go of a little bit. I wanted to bring it all back and just remember, just kind of explore the depths of it a little bit, and have a really good think about it, because it's been on my mind a lot more lately, and it's always a source of inspiration for me when I'm creating, but it was on my mind in a different way, like outside of creating. I would just be sitting on the couch and start thinking about it, or I'd be planning my day and I'd start thinking about it, and just random times. And I thought I wasn't, since I was a kid have I been trying to escape to this place. When I was a kid, it was for playtime, it was for fun, it was to enjoy myself, it was an extension of my reality. I didn't necessarily think that this place that I was escaping to wasn't real. I thought it was real for me. I just knew that other people couldn't really see it. But as an adult, you don't really have that anymore. I feel like that kind of goes. So I was kind of curious to know why it was so more present in my thought process. And, with a bit of introspection, don't know why I'm getting so deep today or at all, but anyway, I'm not going to go fully into anything, but with a bit of introspection, I kind of realized that I've been trying to escape my realities at the moment by going to this place, by diving into my imagination and thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay here for a while. I'm just going to fantasize. I'm going to escape to fairyland, which is not a bad thing at all. I love that. I love that I still have that part of my imagination active, and I'm still, building on it, and I love that it changes and it's ever evolving as I grow older. But I guess I was identifying that instead of it being a fun place that I could escape to and play in and then come back to reality and be happy for it, I was escaping there because I didn't want to be in my reality, and when I came back I was kind of miserable to come back. And please don't feel the need to overanalyze or process any of that. Honestly, I'm just telling you this because it relates to the narrative, and I think it's really interesting how just going for it in this creative process really opened up my thoughts and ideas about it. So I want you to make sure that you really do value the opportunity you have when you're creating to pull apart some of your own real feelings and emotions, and really go deeper with yourself. Even though it just looks like fairies and mermaids, like there is opportunity to really learn something about yourself in what you're doing. And making this zine, I kind of identified that, wow, I don't want to taint this space. I don't want to taint this, quote unquote state of mind by using it as, an escape from my reality, because I don't want to be there. I want to only go here when I'm happy to go here. I want to go here when I just want to experience the joy of it, and I want to, and then I'm fine to come back from this place. I want to, jump in and out of my reality and my fantasies. I want them to be interchangeable. I want to be able to experience the joys of both. And it was a bit of a scary thought for me that I was kind of escaping to my fantasies because I just really didn't want to be in my reality for a second. And that's never healthy. It's never healthy in any circumstance. I'm also not a psychologist, so I can't break that down for anybody. I'm not trained in any therapy or anything, or I like to think that we touch on art therapy, just the very basics of it as we create together. But, the thought process that I was having doing this zine was really, really eye-opening to me, and just kind of made me think a little bit harder about what I was doing and how, it was possibly unhealthy, and that I should make sure that what I'm doing was right for me. I honestly, if I'm really gonna go there, some of my escape, or most of my escape typically is emotional eating. And for me, it was almost a temptation to think, well, skipping off to my fantasy is not as bad as eating. Like, I'm not going to gain weight from it. It's not going to be super unhealthy for me. This would be a better outlet for me to escape for a little bit. But you quickly come to realize in any circumstance that escaping doesn't help. I can go to my fantasy and I can have a great time, and I can, think about being there for a while, but ultimately anything that happens in that space, in that state of mind, isn't really going to solve any of my problems in real life. Hopefully I could take the joy from being there and try and apply that to my situation. Hopefully I could, take some inspiration to work harder from there and bring it over. Like, I'm not going to say that this world is completely fake and you can't get anything from it, but ultimately, if I'm going there to escape my problems, it's not going to help. I have to, at some point, actively work towards that, and and just kind of being mindful of keeping that place sacred for me. I really just don't want to taint what an escape that is, in the sense of it being joyful. And I want it to be a nice summer getaway home where, there's a lake and you go there just to be peaceful. I don't want it to be this army bunker that you go to because you're feeling like you're being attacked. And I don't think that's healthy for me anyway. I'm not going to pretend to know what your situation is or what might be going through your head and your thought processes, but for me, I know that has never typically been the way that I am. I'm pretty head on, face my problems head on and deal with them, so that I can experience the rest of my day in joy. And it's just been something that I've been struggling with a little bit lately, and I noticed that I've been going to Fantasyland way too often for the wrong reason. I want to go there often. Believe me, I don't want to, not be there. I just want to be there, enjoy. I don't want to be there out of, for running away from something. I hope that makes sense. Honestly, maybe it come across a little bit more dramatic than it needed to, but I just wanted to share with you that with a zine, I could build that narrative in. I did a little bit of journaling, and in one of the pages, I just I write what the world is to me. It's like nothing makes sense in there. There's nothing sinister in that fantasy world for me. Nothing that's going to hurt me or harm me. It's such a fun kind of play space for my brain, and that it is hard to come back sometimes, but it's not good to stay there for too long. And hopefully I can figure out a way to get more childlike about it, and to merge that state of mind with my actual realities, to find out what it was about being a child where you could jump in and out, where it was fun to bounce back and forth. My early theories are that stress and anxiety is something that I'm going to have to attack first before I start to get to that healthier space. But that's also good to know. That's also good to process and to level with myself. And at least I think one of the positives I can take away from it is at least I'm not avoiding it all. Essentially I'm trying to avoid my real life by escaping to Fantasyland for a second, but I know overall that there is an issue there, and that I will have to address that. And so that even processing that through making this zine makes me realize that at least I have taken a step towards resolving that for myself. And please don't take this as any kind of self-help video or anything. This is it kind of segues onto self-care, and a video I put up about that ages ago on YouTube. This is one of those periods where I really do need to care for myself for a second, so that I'm still effective and I'm still happy, and I'm still focused on the right things. And so I thought, you know, what better way than to practice what I preach, you know? A lot of the self-care I do, a lot of the reflection I do, it comes by way of journaling now and expressing myself through art and creative endeavors. So it was important for me to show you that I do practice that. I do sit down and process my thoughts like that. I do have very contemplative moments in my art process, and I'm willing to go a little bit deeper than I have gone before. As you know, my life shifts and my growth shifts, and you know, I transition into areas that are new for me, and I need new ways to approach things. So yeah, very thought-provoking experience for me. Hopefully you just enjoyed watching it all come together and listen to my banter for just to listen to it. If any of it struck a chord with you, I will keep you in my prayers as well for the same thing that I am wishing to bless myself with. But I hope overall you get the message that, you know, it's okay to process your feelings and stuff through art. It's okay to explore that, and you don't have to have the answer by the end of it, but, you know, take this as proof that you really are taking yourself seriously. You really are caring for yourself in this way, and that this is a valid way to process some of your feelings and emotions. Not the only way, but it is a very valid way to do it. So until next time, thanks for watching. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye.